Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Want to see if my mic's working? All right, welcome to some more testing of my streams to see if I can get back into streaming my development. Hopefully today I'll keep my microphone on. A lot of technical errors yesterday. And let me mute my other computer so I don't hear myself back. So today I've been messing around with this program called Lovable to build out web apps. And I had some notes on some things that I wanted to build. And basically it's an AI tool that will generate out code and build sites. And it's actually pretty impressive. Let me see if I can get into here real quick. So I haven't shared this publicly yet, but I've been working on a little app called What the Prompt. And let me sign out of here real quick. Account, sign out. And the whole idea behind this app, What the Prompt, is I wanted to create a Scratch-like environment for kids to learn how to do prompting. So I've been working on a tool for building out these custom blocks. And if I come here and log in, and right now I disabled the prompts, which I think is what we'll focus on today. I'm going to rebuild the prompt editor. I was having a lot of problems with that before. So if you go to blocks, oh, I don't understand. This tool does some like really weird things, and we'll just have to see how to work around it. Like all this stuff, it like redesigned this, even though I told it not to even touch it. But long story short is that I now have this fully functional block editor. I can change the connection types. I can preview it in real time. I can sort of move it around. And I have ways of adding new fields. I can reorder the fields if I drag and drop them. And you'll see that it updates in real time. There's some metadata that we can do, although actually, well, let's start with the first thing that we're going to do with Lovable. And we're going to use this button called the edit button, and we can go through here and we can select some UI elements. So I'm going to delete this label, and I believe this doesn't use a credit because I'm just manually doing it, although now I have no idea. Whoops. Let's save and see what happened. All right, so we'll log back in as the admin account. And we'll look at the blocks and we'll look at the editor. Let's go back to metadata, and it didn't do anything. I wonder why it didn't do. Remove legacy prompt code. Clean up the block editor preview. I don't know why it didn't do anything. Oh no, oh there we go. Now I can see it. It seemed to have updated itself. I guess there was a little bit of a lag there. So now we have this up and running. The other thing that I wanted to pull up, and I don't know if my dev environment's still working. I'm going to have to do this on my own. All right, I'll deal with this later. I have my own dev environment set up that I have a local instance of Visual Studio Code running on my server, and then I can just deploy the same project there if I want to do some changes. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go real quick. I'll be right back. Let me go configure the rest of this stuff, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Just wanted to authenticate and log back into my coder instance. So let me do this real quick. Let's go here, and we're going to do git pull all, put in my password, and let's clear this. So now, assuming I actually fixed this yesterday, we should be able to, I need to work on this. Hold on, let's see here. Is this still, all right, the server's still running. We'll open this up, which is going to fail. And now what I need to do is copy, I think this is the name. So yesterday I spent a whole bunch of time trying to set up Cloudflare's tunnels so that I can actually remotely test this. So I believe the URL is going to be coder, my name, the project, whoops, and then weekend code project. Yes. All right, that works. That's great. All right, I'm going to move this here so I can save it and delete this old one. So now I can actually test all this out through my own server, and I can build it on Lovable. So let's see here. I need to put the password in. And let's save this, sure. And let's go to community, let's go to blocks, and let's see if that edit actually changed and it pulled down. So, all right. So now we have the same project that I have running on Lovable here in their AI editor. I now have running in my own instance of Visual Studio Code, and I have a preview of it running at the same time. So the whole reason why I'm trying to do this is because every change or anytime you ask Lovable's AI what to do, you actually have to pay a credit for it. And so let me go log into my account real quick and we'll see how many credits I have. Let's see. So we'll go through Lovable. Let's get rid of all this garbage. And if I go into my settings, it'll tell me right here that I have 11 projects. I have 5 daily messages remaining, which are the messages that they give us. It gives it for free. And then we have 1,000 monthly messages remaining, plus I have 265 bonus messages. So I'm pretty stacked right now with messages. Since nobody seems to really be watching, let me go and I'm going to go tweet real quick that I'm doing this. I hate having to support Twitter, but I haven't built up a big enough following yet on Blue Sky in order to fully move over. Twitch. I'm just tweeting over in a different window. So let me actually just put this to be right back, and I'll set up all this other stuff and then come right back to the stream. All right, looks like I have everything back up and running now, and I have promoted my stream, and let's just get back into it. All right, so what I was talking about before was that I'm building out this block editor for building out prompts. And what I want to do is I want to move over to fleshing back out the prompts. One of the things that I want to do is let's also well, we can leave the community stuff right now. I hate that it changed this. I don't know why it changes the design on me, but that's fine. I didn't really finalize this design anyways. So what I want to do is I'm going to model the prompts after this block editor. And one of the things I've noticed with Lovable is that it really isn't consistent, and I've been trying to get it to basically say like, okay, I want to use this chunk of code, I want you to abstract it out, and I want to reuse it in other parts of the application. But Lovable just doesn't understand it. And I think a big part of the problem is just how much code that it generates. It's just generating out like tons and tons of code. So I've gone through and I've been manually trying to go in and sort of clean some of this stuff up. It's not easy because I just don't have a sense of how things are wired up. And that's mostly because I just am having Lovable build it out for me. Normally, I would have a little bit more control over this. So what I'm hoping to do is to be able to reuse a good chunk of what I'm doing in the block editor and move this over to the prompt editor. So the first thing I want to do is I actually want to create a new branch because we're going to do a bunch of substantial changes here. So one of the interesting things that you can do, although they've been changing the UI, so I don't like, it used to be, oh wait, it's back here now? Oh no, the GitHub button now just shows you that you can load GitHub. What I want to do is go to the project settings and I want to create a new branch. And let's just hide, let's hide this menu bar so we get a little bit more room. All right, so there's a GitHub tab in the settings for the project. And basically what you can do is I've been creating different branches. One of the things that I've noticed that I'm not a big fan of, but now that I have this running on my own local server at the same time for development, I could fix this, is that there's no way of merging a branch down. So what happens is that all of my branches are actually coming off of the same previous branch. So right now I'm going to create a v0.13.0 branch, and it's going to be created off of my v0 12.1 branch. All right, so now I have this new branch. This UI used to be a little bit cleaner. It used to be basically like up here and you can switch between it, but that's fine. And now you can see that I've switched to my new branch, and it's time for me to start basically going through and I want to map out how to do the prompts. Now, one of the things that I need to do is go back into Superbase. I'm just going to say Superbase, like Super Mario, even though there's an R in that. And we're going to look at this table editor, and I have a couple of old tables that I was using for the prompts, and I'm just going to rename these. You'll have to excuse me. I'm not. I haven't used Superbase a lot, so let's do this. We're going to export all this data as a CSV. Great. And on this prompts, we're going to. Oops, where is this menu? We're going to export the data as a CSV. And then I'm actually just going to delete these tables because it just was becoming too confusing when I started trying to do a different version of the prompts. So delete the tables and its dependent objects. Warning, dropping this with Cascade may result in unintentional consequences. I don't know if I want to do that. let's do this. We're going to just rename this, and then we'll go back and we'll deal with the dependencies later. Actually, you know what we can do? Well, we could have Lovable do it for us, but it's fine. I'm just going to do this here. So we're going to call this beta prompts old, and we're going to rename this to prompts old. And we're going to take note of how the block works. So the way that the block stuff works is that we have a definitions table which represents when you define a block. So if we go back in and we take a look at this and we go into the block editor, when, of course it has errors loading prompts. All right, but that's fine. We don't need to worry about this, although it's going to keep giving me these errors, huh? Let me refresh and see if that'll just go away. I'm sure there's something under the hood that's connected to it and I need to decouple it. So if that's the case, then we'll go back and we'll tell Lovable to refactor. Okay. Let's see if we can get Lovable to do this. I have changed the prompt tables. Whoops. I've removed the old prompt tables. One of them is called prompts, and the other and prompts beta. I'm now getting toast errors. Can you refactor the code without changing any functionality to, whoops. Also, you can see I'm just the worst speller, so luckily the AI doesn't seem to care that I can't spell. Let's refactor the code without changing any functionality to remove any dependency on the old prompt tables. You can also remove the logic in the community and make it a blank coming soon page. All right. Sometimes Lovable, refactoring of this caliber, Lovable really can't handle it. It's going to wind up, I might have to go back and break this down into chunks, but we'll give it a try and we'll see. Luckily, so we're in this other branch, so we can always go back to the previous branch, and I didn't delete the tables. So I'm looking at my, while this is doing its thing, I was looking at my Twitch stuff, and it is so outdated. So let's see here. I was just, while Lovable is going through and trying to do the refactor to get rid of the old prompt stuff, I was looking to see if I could delete these old panels. Let's remove this. Let's remove this, and I'm going to remove this. All right. So now I won't have anything, at least at the bottom of, how do I save my changes? I guess it automatically saves. Let's go back and see what Lovable did. So I refactored the code, removed the dependencies of the old prompt table, simplified the community page. So let's go to community. It should say nothing, and this is what I was waiting for. So there's an error, and I'm sure there's tons of errors because a lot of stuff was probably tied into the prompts. So let's go ahead and see if we can fix, or at least have Lovable fix this error for me. And I've had mixed results with this. So sometimes Lovable will go through and do it piece by piece. Other times it'll just continuously break things. And the worst case scenario of what I'll see with Lovable is that it just gets stuck in this endless loop of trying to fix a problem, and then it tells you it fixed the problem. You could see that there's no fix to it, and then when you ask it to do it again, it tells you, well, I can't fix it because I've already applied the changes, and there's no way to break out of that loop without moving on to a different thing. So this is a pretty substantial refactoring, and I probably shouldn't have done it this way. So we'll see. If I get stuck, I'll revert back to a previous version and then see if I can just do this piece by piece. One of the things I had noticed that Lovable is actually pretty good at is that Lovable is good at handling Superbase and SQL tables. I hate SQL. Like, I learned it 100 years ago. It was never my favorite. I was never really a back-end developer. And it's nice to at least have the AI go and do that. And I could tell it, like, hey, I need you to migrate this table to this, or I need you to change this table, and it'll deal with the migrations, or it'll deal with the deletes. So I do appreciate that it can do that very well. And again, I think the challenges with something like Lovable, which by far is like the best AI coding tool that I've tried out yet. And if you know other ones, please leave me comments. I'm happy to go and try out other things. I have my whole plan with this streaming, going back into streaming, is just to start trying out new things, coding out, random ideas each day. And if I can automate a lot of this with AI, then great. I don't think it's a silver bullet yet. And while I've been using ChatGPT to help me code for a couple of years now, it really still needs human intervention. So if you're just joining, oh, it looks like it fixed this. Well, let's give this a minute for it to see if there's any errors that pop up. So if you're just joining, the workflow that I'm doing right now with Lovable is that I have my own instance of Coder running on my own NAS. And Coder is a sort of self-contained dev environment, and it gives you an instance of Visual Studio Code that you can have in the cloud. So I have this project now running locally on my NAS, and I can also preview it and see it running on the NAS as well. So what I'm starting to try to get going is that now I'll do my editing as much as I can in Lovable for like big, broad strokes, and then I go back into the code for some very granular changes. So it looks like all of this stuff it's been refactored. I wish it was consistent. Like, let me see if I can see, this is where it also struggles a little bit. Like, I just want the community page to be like the prompts page. So can you remove all the content on the community page so it looks like the prompt page for now? I will say one of the things that I do like about it is just, of course, because I'm not sitting here actually coding, I can really think through the problems. And this, at least, is in my opinion, where I think we're going to go with these type of AI tools, is that maybe the hard skills of actually being able to code and develop and know all these languages, at least to the extent that I do, is going to go away. But the soft skills of understanding how application development works, how interaction works, how usability works, are going to become even more important as you communicate and talk to the AI to tell it what to do versus letting it do it for you. So here we go. This is the exact problem I was talking about, and I get this all the time. Let me zoom in a little bit more, see if this is a little bit easier. Basically, it's telling me now that the AI edits didn't result in any changes to the code base. And that's not true, because I told it to make the community page look like the prompt page. So let's see if we can try this a different way. Can you duplicate, oops, man, I cannot spell. This is going to be my biggest challenge on the live stream. I mean, I had the same problem when I was coding anyway, so nothing has really changed there. Can you duplicate the under construction. Oh, cool, that screwed up. Somebody just called my cell, which took over my headphones, and now I can't hear any of my stuff. Cool, 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 cool. Let's see if I can. Okay, good. Now I have some music playing in the background because it drives me nuts talking to myself. Like, at least when I have some music playing, I feel like I'm not going crazy. Can you duplicate the under construction prompt page and replace the existing community page? So if you're just joining the stream, I'm working on a little app called What the Prompt, and it's a Scratch-like environment to teach kids how to do prompting, how to build prompts correctly. I've been working on it for the past couple of weeks in Lovable, and I'm trying to see if I can build a complex web app using just Lovable, and then me sort of stepping in and cleaning things up as needed. So right now, what I'm getting ready to do is re-implement the way the prompts work. See, yeah, this stuff drives me nuts. I don't understand why I told it to copy this exact page and make it for community under construction, but that's fine. I don't really care. What I want to do is I'm going to go look in the code. Now, this is kind of interesting. They just released this, Superbase just released this a couple days ago, where now you can always preview the code, but now you can actually go in and make edits. What I want to make sure is that on the components, community, I just want to make sure that this stuff is prompt list, community search. All right, I want to remove, can you now refactor the program by removing everything in source slash components slash community. Now this one's scary because now I'm telling it to actually delete stuff, and I've had some mixed results with that. But my hope is that I can get this to just sort of a baseline. Once we get all the old community stuff pulled away or pulled out, and then I can come back to it from a clean slate. We'll do another branch, and then we'll just start building on top of that. So all this code has been removed, and the community page now shows the under construction. Great. And one thing I want to do here, let's just see here. I want to see what the prompt, is this the dashboard page? Let me see what I want to see what the actual text is and go find this page and just copy it over. Prompt editor. I guess it's the prompt editor because this is prompt editor. Let's see, pages, source pages, prompt editor. Right, under construction. So let's see if we do this. I'm going to copy this. Where's community? Huh. Yeah, what is going on? This is so weird. I was hoping that maybe if I just copied and pasted what was in the prompt editor, but there must be something above this that is dictating its layout. So that's fine. I'm not going to get into this too much. I don't really care if these two match up. I'm just more curious, outside of anything, of why these things don't actually line up. So, all right. I think we got everything going. We have the dashboard, community with the blocks. It looks like nothing has been broken on the blocks. This is a big part of what you have to do with Lovables. You have to just go through and keep testing and checking that it hasn't just inadvertently broken something. All right, I think we're good to go. So now let's do this. Let's go make a new branch. Project settings. I wonder why it's taking so long to load lately. Okay, so let's go to GitHub. We're going to create a new branch now. And we're going to call this v0.13.1. All right, so now we should have switched over to this new branch. Okay, good. Now we're on the new branch, and now we can start actually getting some work down. So what I want to do is, let's take a look at, I think we can just delete these. I don't see why we can't. Let's just delete it and see what happens. Delete table, delete, and let's delete this now. And let's go back to the app and let's sign out and see if we've broken anything. I'll do a force sign out. Huh, cool. The force sign out isn't working anymore. Perfect. I had to include this force sign out because Lovable was getting me into this like issue where one of the things you can do that's kind of cool is you can go back through your history of all your changes if it would load. And then you can go back through and test different versions. But what I was noticing is that if I was logged into the current version and then I went and previewed a older version, there would be an issue with the session and I would sort of not be able to get anything done. So I had to add a force log out. So, all right, so we're back here now. We should be at, this is the latest version, which is now the new branch 0.13.1. I'm going to refresh this just to make sure that we are using this. And okay, good. Looks like everything's loaded. Now I'm going back and I just want to make sure that everything is working correctly. Looks like all the functionality is still there. All right, so now comes the fun part of let's create a new database table. And what I want to see is, can we do, I'm trying to remember how I can split a screen in a, right. All right, I want to add a left split, and I'm going to put Lovable here off to the side. And also, let's see if we can make, I want to make sure I can make this full screen. Close enough. All right. So let's close this, give this a little bit more space. And I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Oops. Oh, good. I can zoom out individually in individual tabs. So let's just zoom out so I can see a little bit more of this database and a little bit more of this page. All right, so what I want to do is I want to go back through and block definitions. All right, so what I should have done is I should have saved one of those tables so I get to see what was in it, but let's do this. I want you to create 2 new tables for the prompts. There should be a prompt definitions and a prompt versions. I want these to work similarly to the blocks where you create the definition of a prompt and all the prompt data is stored in the version table. So we'll need columns for user, for the UID, user ID is public, is deleted, and in the version table, you'll need the UID, the ID for the prompt definition, definition, and a way to store the XML from the Blockly editor to rebuild the prompt. All right. I'm not sure this is going to work correctly, but we're going to give it a try. Can I go back here? Oh no, it's now only working here. All right, so to help you create the two tables for prompts in the Supabase similar to the block structure. All right, let's see. We have is public, is deleted, created at, version ID, will reference the latest version, fine. Table, whoops. Title, content, version is latest, created at. Perfect. I guess that looks good. All right, that was actually pretty clever. It picked up the fact that when I create, originally, I guess it somehow remembered that I wanted people to be able to fork a prompt from another person. So it has the reference to where it was forked from. Prompt definitions, users can create their own prompts, users can update their own prompts, users can delete their own prompts, users can view versions of visual prompts. All right, apply changes. So let's just have it build all this out, and then we'll work backwards from there to see what's going on. All right. We'll just give it a minute to build out all of the tables that it said it was going to build for me. Yeah, this is a bit of the problem with this, is that you wind up just sitting here waiting while it's thinking through everything, and you don't really know 100% what it's doing, but that's fine. The other thing I realized that I wanted to add in there too, excuse me, was a way for people to star their projects. So we'll, once we get these tables built out, I'm going to add that also to the table. I'm going to add the ability for other people to star or upvote the prompts into the definitions table. So, all right, these changes implement the new prompt functionality using the prompt definitions. Now, I hope it didn't build out anything with the prompt. I just hope it just made the tables, and it looks like it just did that. Let's go here and let's refresh. And now we should see the tables. We have prompt versions and we have the prompt definitions. All right, I want to add a new column to the prompt definitions to allow users to upvote prompts. Column to the prompt definitions as a counter that allows users to upvote prompts. This should not. All right, we'll just see. We'll see if we'll be very clear with it, because it'll at least tell us where it's going to build this, where it's going to run the SQL before it actually runs it. I just want to make sure that it doesn't do something stupid and put this into the versions table. I want it just to be inside of the prompt. All right, yeah, this is probably the number one thing I love about using like an AI like this, is that I hate having to write all this SQL, especially all these relational things and the policies. So the fact that it could just generate a lot of this out is great. Users can use prompts, fine, toggle prompt upvote. All right, we're going to apply that and have it do its thing to build out the SQL. Then after this, what we're going to do is we'll start building back out the UI, and I want to see if I can get this to reuse as much of the blocks logic as possible. That's another thing I've noticed, that it's really hard to tell Lovable. It doesn't really want to reuse stuff that exists. It just wants to generate out more stuff, and that's where the project starts getting like really, really messy. You just start getting like lots and lots of generated stuff, and then now what I'm going to have to do is just go in and manually start cleaning that up. Excuse me. It's still early for me, apparently. All right. While this thinks about what to do, I'm going to convert my desk back down to standing. So I'll be right back. All right. I am back, and it is still trying to figure out how to do all this. So one of the funny things that I started doing early on when I was using Lovable was that I actually was getting so like just bored of waiting for it to do something that I was working on 2 to 3 projects at the same time. And I don't think that's going to be very good on streaming, although I don't think anyone's really watching now anyways. So that's one thing. As long as you have enough credits, you can do it. And if you can keep context shifting. All right, so let's go back and let's see if our prompt definitions now have prompt upvotes. Interesting. All right, it broke it out into its own little table. Let's see what these errors are. Let's have it just fix these errors. So, okay, it now created a separate table for prompt upvotes, which is good. The next thing that I want to do, and I'll just cue it up here so I don't forget, is can you make sure that when deleting a prompt from the prompts definitions table, it cascades and deletes, oh my god, I cannot spell today. Oh my god, what is going on? Deletes all of the versions and upvotes. Looks like we still have some more issues for it to fix. And then we'll go back to this. All right. Looks like it's fixed all this. This error was fixed by properly handling the type conversion. I don't think anything else has been broken, hopefully not. Actually, let's cut this out here. And I'm going to go back over to the full screen tab. And let's refresh this. This way, at least we have a little bit more that we can see. And I'll zoom in a little bit more. Whoops, that's my volume. Give this some breathing room. And all right, so now we're going to add one other thing where we can now make sure that when you delete a prompt, it deletes it from the versions and from the up versions. And I don't, this is something that I think is like a little bit newer to me, which is a lot of this business logic is handled more on the database side than it is on the front end. So I just want to make sure that I'm doing this at least correctly. And I've only learned this more through trial and error at this point. Let's apply these changes. Yeah, unexpected error happened. Yeah, that's fine. It's going to be a couple of unexpected errors. SQL has been migrated. No code changes are needed since the existing functionality is deleting the prompts. All right, let's refresh this and see if we can get rid of these little errors. I don't know what's causing these errors. Let's see what is going on here and why we're getting these errors. Let's clear this. Let's restart. Fetch prompts. All right, we shouldn't be fetching any prompts right now, so I don't know why this is throwing an error. Let's ask Lovable what it wants to do about this. I am seeing an unexpected error and getting this message in the console. The app shouldn't be trying to load any prompts right now. Go step by step to find a fix without changing or breaking any of the other functionality. So many misspellings. It's fine. Luckily, it doesn't care. All right, I'll analyze the error step by step and fix it. Good. All right. I think what we'll do is I'm going to try to get at least the skeleton of the prompt editor up and running, and then we'll just call it a day for the stream. I might be on a little bit later today just to, I was having some fun playing colonization yesterday, so. I set my phone to private and people are still somehow getting through to call and screwing up my headphones. All right, let's see what we're doing here. I fixed the issue, changing how we fetch the prompt data. The problem is with the use prompt fetch hook where we were trying to use an embedded query couldn't determine the relationship. What I don't understand is where is it actually trying to, why is it trying to load this prompt? All right, we'll come back and deal with this later. Let's just refresh and make sure that this actually fixed the error and it hasn't introduced some other new error that needs to be dealt with. All right, so now we have all the database stuff. It's time for us to start building out the prompts page. And I have a feeling we're going to have to do a lot of trial and error here. So let me just focus on how we are going to show this. And one thing I'm noticing, and I think I'm just going to get rid of this preview. No one's really chatting anyway, so if people start chatting, I'll show the chat. I'd rather just have it be a clean window at the moment. Whoa. Oh no, I screwed up something. No. Did I just put this? Yay. I screwed up something. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back as I try to fix this. All right, I've somehow now, oh, okay, I think maybe I fixed this finally. All right, I have this like really convoluted setup on my computer that allows me to, actually, hold on, let me take off my sweater because it's getting hot in my office. Okay, I have this really convoluted way if I set up my screen where I have a fake dongle in the back of my video card that tricks my video card into thinking I have an extra display, and then I project that display into here, so I have a virtual display, and it's a whole blah 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 blah. No one really cares, but I think I fixed it, which is why the mouse was moving all around. So okay, so we're going to start now by trying to get the prompt editor to follow the same layout and components as the blocks editor. I want you to implement the foundation of the prompt editor by reusing the same, oops. Oh my God, I cannot type today. Oh my God, what is going on? Same layout as the layout and components as the blocks editor. Should be a sidebar that displays prompts, displays the user's prompts in the database with search on top, the filter tabs for private, public, trash, and the same functionality as the block editor's sidebar. Reuse as much, reuse as many components as you can so they are shared between the two editors without changing any functionality or design of the block editor. Factuality, functionality. There we go. English is critical when you're typing to an AI. All right, so now what I'm hoping to do is I'm hoping that Lovable will take this layout, the contents of this, and copy it over to the prompts and then adapt it for the prompts field. I am not going to hold my breath on that one, but we're gonna hope for the best. Let's see it think. I've forgotten how much fun it is to stream for only yourself. A couple of people keep coming in and out of the stream. It's been a long time since I've done this, so I don't blame it, and I don't know necessarily if this is the most interesting thing to watch. I got to figure out how to get myself out of the team, out of the Amazon App Store team. I haven't. That goes to show how long it's been since I've actually been streaming. All right. I've now implemented the foundation for the prompt editor by reusing components and patterns from the block editor. The implementation includes a proper prompt editor page that follows the same structure. Of course, there's an error. Let's see if we can get this to fix itself. While I was doing this, I'm trying to figure out how I can remove Twitch, how to remove from team, how to leave a Twitch team. How do I leave a team? Dashboard. All right, I need to go to settings, channel, featured content. Settings, channel, featured. Oh, well, all right, let's go back to this and see what it's actually generated out. And I'll, over the next couple of days, I'll start cleaning up the stream a little bit more. Let's see. It's telling me it has added this functionality, and I'm not seeing anything yet. I have a feeling there's an error around here that it's just not displaying just yet. Let's give it a second. Sometimes it takes a while for the error to pop up. not seeing an error, so let's see what's going on here. I'm not seeing anything load on the page, on the prompt page. When you go to the page time, it should tell you to pick a prompt from the left, just like the blocks editor does. All right, let's see if this actually will implement it. And I'm still trying to figure out on Twitch how to get out of the App Store team. Why they hid this. Here we go. Finally found it. Luckily, they implemented a search. I'm removing myself from the App Store team. Perfect. All right, so now the prompt editor will show a placeholder message. It isn't showing Jack. All right, so this is what's going to wind up happening. We're going to get in one of these loops again with Lovable where it thinks that it fixed it. It clearly hasn't, and now I have to convince it to fix it. So why am I getting all these errors? Copy. I am still not seeing anything loading. And in the console, I am getting the following. Oops, something just flickered. Error. Can you just get the layout to work before wiring it up to the database? All right, let's see if we can try this a different way where we just tell it that we just want to see the actual page laid out, then we can wire it back up. All right. New prompt. What did it do here? Select a prompt from the sidebar. It's amazing how like inconsistent it is, and I think this goes across the board for LLMs. It's like they just don't have context. Ironically, I actually like this, but this is completely wrong. Like none of this makes any sense. What's going on here? Okay. With database related logic to add the sidebar in without wiring it up. It should have search, the filters for public, private, or private, public, and trash. Create button at the bottom. Once this is working, we'll move on to trying to load prompts from the database. All right, let's see if it gets something actually working here. All right. Ooh, it actually did it. We have public, we have trash, we have our filters, we have a new prompt. It doesn't seem that it's adhering to the other stuff that we needed to do. I don't understand why it does this functionality, but or why it like makes up functionality. All right, can you add back in the UX logic where you see a delete or empty trash button when in the trash tab of the prompt editor's side menu. All right, let's see if this actually does anything. All right, good. So now this all seems to be working, or at least in theory it's working. The next thing that I want to do is I just want to tell it to delete on the no prompt instruction page, remove this div, including the back new prompt label or header and save button. All right, we're actually making a little bit of progress. I didn't think it was going to get it to be this close. One of the issues I was having before, which is why I'm refactoring the entire prompt builder, is that Lovable just sort of kept making things up as I was trying to change or implement the UI, and it's not consistent, as I've mentioned several times before. Look at this. It deleted all the functionality for the blocks. See, this is the part that gets incredibly frustrating. I had an entire section that was completely working fine, and it just removed all of it. What happened to the block editor? It no longer has a sidebar or a way to edit blocks. Hopefully, at least I'm hoping the code is still there. But this is the biggest challenge I think right now with Lovable or any of these AI tools, is that they just don't know how to, one, reuse code across different components to keep the code simple and maintainable, and then when you get it to do one thing, it completely removes a whole other section for no apparent reason. So if this doesn't work, I'm gonna have to go back through now the different the history and see where we lost that functionality. Oh, this is so frustrating. I fixed the issue by updating the layout to show the sidebar for the block. No, you haven't. You literally haven't done anything. Let's log out and log back in and just make sure that there isn't something that's, it's removed the sidebar from everything. The only thing that now has the sidebar is the prompts. So that's not good. One thing I did want to do though is I did actually like this. So I was going to save a little screenshot of it. This is so frustrating. Okay, now it's time for my favorite game with Lovable. Trying to find where it broke everything. Let's go back to where it implemented the sidebar layout and see if it actually broke it here. All right, that doesn't have it. All right, so this is the most recent edit I can find. Let's see about this version. This version still has the logic for the blocks. All right, good. Prompts just doesn't have any of the sidebar stuff, but that's fine. Here's where things start getting a little screwy. That actually locked up my computer for a second. I really don't understand how it took something that was completely functioning correctly and broke it. This is where I generally wind up losing, like, or spending the most credits. And this is what I think is like so frustrating with this, is that it just doesn't isolate its edits. Or at least if it didn't, it should warn you more. How far back do I need to now go to get a working version? Holy shit. I have to go all the way back to 35 minutes ago? Okay. Let's see what I did to screw this up. All right. I'm going to restore this version real quick and take a look to see if this actually works the way that it should. And then we'll go back to re-implementing the sidebar. Has it restored it yet? No, that little dot means that it hasn't done it yet. So, all right, let it go do its thing. It looks like it's locked up again. All right, I'm gonna save this version and see if we can just exit this and go back and restart the page. Man, Lovable is running really slow today, huh? All right, now let's go back to history and let's see if we can change the let's go to this version and restore from this version. Yeah, I don't know why it's hanging. Fun, fun, fun. Well, I'm going to take a quick standing break while this thing does its thing, and then I'll come back and we'll see if we can get a little bit more done before I call it a day at 11:30. All right, let's come back and see if it actually did anything. Nope, it's still hung here. All right, I think this is my natural breaking point, or my place to take a break for the day. I might come back and give this a try. I don't know why it's hanging and why it won't restore to this version. But now it's just completely hung here. Let's see, maybe it actually restored it and I don't know. Revert block changes. I don't know why it won't restore the previous settings. So, all right. This is enough for a test stream for today. I think next week we'll do a little bit more when I have a more consistent schedule. Restore from this version. Yeah, all right. This is too frustrating for me. So this is my natural breaking point. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. I know this wasn't a very exciting stream, but I promise they will get better. And I'll see you on the flip side.